There are two sides to every story, and a million shadows in between. Another case, another deep dive. Gather around for a tale of a crime, from a moment in history, a shadow in time, where the past isn't past, and the truth must be told. This is their story on True Crime Chronicles.
Content warning. This video contains graphic discussions of violent crimes. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Welcome back to True Crime Chronicles. It's been a minute, but we're returning with a case that demands our attention. In an era where police interactions are under immense scrutiny, the story of Sonya Massey stands as a tragic and fatal example of a call for help that ended in unimaginable violence. The details are as shocking as they are heartbreaking. On July 6, 2024, Sonya Massey called 911 because she was scared. Within minutes, in her own kitchen, she was dead. The man who shot her was Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson. This is not just a story about a police shooting. It's a story about a life of faith, a history of red flags, a family's quest for justice, and a legal verdict that left a nation asking, was it enough? To understand the profound tragedy of Sonya Massey's death, we must first remember the woman she was. Sonya Massey was 36 years old, but to her 17-year-old son Malachi, she was something far greater. He called her his superhero. In his words, she was a ball of love, the best person on the planet to me. His earliest memories were not of playgrounds or cartoons, but of his mother reading the Bible with him, building a foundation of Christian faith that would become the bedrock of her identity. She was the kind of person who could light up a room, an outgoing and gifted cook whose shredded chicken nachos were legendary, even tempting a cousin who had been a vegetarian for 25 years. She was deeply connected to her family, particularly her uncle, Raymond. She would call him with every accomplishment, big or small, beaming with pride. On the very day she was killed, she sent him a simple text, "I love you, Uncle." He remembered her as having a great spirit, always happy, always caring. Though she had retired from a local gaming company, her ambition was redirected entirely toward her children. She worked part-time jobs to save up and surprise her son with a car. Her family said her children were always immaculately dressed and beautifully mannered. Her focus, they said, was on God and loving her kids. But behind this portrait of devotion was a private and painful struggle. In the weeks leading up to her death, Sonya was battling her mental health. This is a crucial part of her story, not to stigmatize, but to highlight the exact kind of vulnerable situation that requires a careful, trained response. According to dispatch records, she had voluntarily checked herself into an inpatient treatment program. She had called a mobile crisis hotline 3 times. And most tellingly, on July 5th, just one day before the shooting, her mother, Donna, made a heart-wrenching call to 911. Donna told the dispatcher that her daughter was having a mental breakdown, but she was explicit. Sonya was not dangerous. Her plea was a desperate foreshadowing. "She's been sporadic and I don't want you guys to hurt her. Please." Sonya, in fact, was so aware of her own needs that she had sent her 2 children to live with their fathers so she could focus on getting better. She was taking all the right steps. She was seeking help. She was a woman in crisis, but she was not a threat. The man who would respond to Sonya Massey's final call for help was 30-year-old Deputy Sean Grayson. An investigation into his past reveals a career marred by misconduct and ignored warnings. Classic case of what critics call wandering officers. Grayson's troubles began long before he put on a sheriff's deputy uniform. He was discharged from the U.S. Army for serious misconduct. Military law experts state this type of discharge is not for minor infractions. It suggests an offense equivalent to one that would land a civilian in prison for a year or more. Despite this, he would later falsely claim on job applications that he received an honorable discharge. He also had 2 misdemeanor DUI convictions. In one arrest, he threatened the officer, saying he was too small to be making him mad. Grayson bounced through 6 different police departments in just 4 years. At the Kincaid Police Department, a former village trustee said he thought Grayson was a loose cannon, describing him as arrogant and cocky. At the Logan County Sheriff's Office, his file was even more troubling. He engaged in a high-speed chase, ignoring direct orders from his superiors to stand down. He reached speeds of 110 miles per hour, turned off his lights and siren, and only stopped when he crashed into a deer. His supervisors merely recommended high-stress decision-making training. In another Logan County case, a woman named Chelsea Lowe alleged Grayson harassed her while she was in custody. An internal investigation was so shoddy, it failed to even interview her. She said, "My rights were violated and they did nothing about it." These were massive red flags, yet he was allowed to resign and was hired by the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office. This was the man who, alongside Deputy Dawson Farley, arrived at Sonya Massey's home at 1:20 a.m. on July 6th. The body camera footage tells a story of a calm situation that turned deadly in an instant. Let's break down the critical moments. The deputies search the property and find no intruder. They speak with Sonya at her door. The conversation is calm. They even share a laugh. They enter her home. Sonya is compliant. She looks for her ID as requested. She asks one deputy to hand her a Bible. The mood is not tense. Then Deputy Farley notices a pot of water boiling on the stove. Sonya, being helpful, picks up the pot with both hands to move it from the stove. It's at this moment she says the words that would be her last. "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Grayson's reaction is instantaneous and extreme. He doesn't attempt to de-escalate. He doesn't step back. He draws his firearm and screams, "You better fucking not. I swear to God I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face. Drop the fucking pot." Sonya immediately drops to the floor behind her kitchen counter. Her hands go up. She is apologizing. But Grayson advances. He fires 3 shots. One bullet strikes Sonya Massey in the head. In the aftermath, as Sonya lay dying, Grayson's partner went to get a medical kit. Grayson's response was chillingly callous. The public release of the footage sparked national outrage and protests. Sean Grayson was fired and charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. His trial began in October 2025. The trial featured dramatic testimony. Deputy Farley, the state's key witness, stated under oath that he was never scared of Sonya Massey. He said he only drew his weapon because he was trying to back my partner. He testified, "She never did anything that made me think she was a threat." Grayson took the stand in his own defense. He claimed he believed the pot of water was a lethal weapon and that Sonya's religious rebuke was a threat. He argued he had no other option, even though he never attempted to use his taser. The prosecution painted him as a bully. In her closing argument, First Assistant State's Attorney Mary Beth Rogers said the shooting happened not because Sonya was in crisis, it's because he snapped. She reminded the jury that Sonya's last words were, "I'm sorry." The jury deliberated for nearly 12 hours. They were given an option. They could convict on the original charge of first-degree murder, or on the lesser charge of second-degree murder, which acknowledges an unreasonable belief in the need for self-defense. The verdict: guilty of second-degree murder. For Sonya's family, it was a bittersweet victory. Her father, James Wilburn, said the conviction knocked the smirk off of Grayson, who had shown no remorse. The family felt it was a miscarriage of justice. Her cousin, Sonya Massey, expressed the family's rage. If you get an officer who says he's going to shoot you in the face, and then he shoots you in the face, and you only get second-degree murder? Grayson faces 4 to 20 years in prison, and with day-for-day good behavior credit, he could serve as little as half of his sentence. Sonya Massey's death was not in vain, though the price was unimaginable. Her family reached a $10 million settlement with Sangamon County. More importantly, her name is now on a law. The Sonya Massey Act in Illinois mandates much stricter, more thorough background checks for police hires, aiming to prevent officers with histories like Grayson's from slipping through the cracks. Sangamon County Sheriff Jack Campbell retired in the wake of the scandal. In a tragic historical footnote, Sonya's family revealed that one of her ancestors, William Donegan, was lynched in the 1908 Springfield race riot, an event that led to the founding of the NAACP. He was pronounced dead in the same hospital as Sonya. As one relative poignantly stated, "The more things change, the more they stay the same." Sonya Massey was a superhero to her son. She was a woman of deep faith, a loving mother, a cherished niece. She was in a vulnerable moment seeking help, and she was failed by a system that allowed a troubled man to carry a badge and a gun. Her story is a stark reminder of the urgent need for police reform, better mental health crisis response, and true accountability. It challenges us to build a world where a call for help is met with compassion, not a death sentence. And so, we bring another dark chapter to a close here on True Crime Chronicles. We share these stories not to sensationalize tragedy, but to remember the victims and to learn from the past. Our shared curiosity is what binds this community together. To ensure you never miss an investigation, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you found today's story compelling, please share your thoughts in the comments and share this video to help others find our channel. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay compassionate, and keep seeking truth.